Hey people, CzarThwomp here, and welcome to episode 57 of Dual Destinies. Last time, we found out that Apollo's best friend was murdered, his first ever role model is the defendant, and now we have to basically prove that Saul did not kill Clay, and that Fulbright's testimony is flawed. So let's go.
Ah, I see what you mean! Whether Clay was still alive at that point is pretty crucial. Your Honor, please take another look at that footage. Isn't it possible that Mr. Turan was still alive here and that Mr. Starbuck was helping him? Why, I believe you're right. One man carrying the other to safety. What a beautiful expression of friendship.
Silence.
Perhaps that's what it looks like to a one-eyed hothead and a dotard. But it only makes sense if it's the victim's dead body.
What do you mean?
Fulbright, explain it to Justice Dono. You got it. Ready, kid? If the murder had occurred in the lounge, somebody could have spotted it. Anyone get into the lounge after all. But doing it while they were alone in the spaceship, that's a horse of a different color.
Objection.
But you can't deny that there's a possibility that the murder could have happened in the lounge. All the video shows is a man helping his fellow astronaut out.
Silence.
Your assertion is based on emotion. It's based in your belief that Mr. Starbuck would surely help his own disciple. But you have no logical explanation as to why the victim could still be alive.
Ugh! Unfortunately, Mr. Justice, the prosecution is right. Your argument is lacking in sound logic. But it sounded perfectly logical to me. Well, Mr. Justice, if you have no further objections, I believe it's time to bring this cross-examination to a close. Objections? Well,
Hold it.
Your Honor, the defense requests a little time to think and regroup.
Given the facts, I'm not sure I see the need. What is it, Athena?
It's just, there's something that's been bothering me. If it isn't the defense stalling for time, as always. Athena, for shame! 2 cases at the Space Center that you are only making worse with your involvement? Haven't you learned from the first time? Very well, I'm feeling generous. You may have a small measure of time. Yes! You have 5 seconds. But 5 seconds? Make that 4! But Simon, don't make me lower to 3, Athena! After that, I declare this cross-examination to be closed, and a verdict to be rendered. Your boldness, raise your gavel high. It's time for a countdown.
Oh!
Ready?
We don't have time. Spit it out, Athena. Only 3 more seconds. The judge is getting excited, Athena. Hurry!
Look, I don't think the prosecution's explanation is very complete. Meaning there's something missing, like they conveniently left it unexplained.
Something they didn't explain. Ah, you're right. I think I know what you're talking about. Your 5 seconds are up, Mr. Justice. Is there anything about the prosecution's argument that you'd like to rebut? Yes, Your Honor. Actually, there is. There's something the prosecution has yet to make clear to this court. Well, if you put it that way, what is it that the prosecution has failed to explain? They have failed to explain why Mr. Starbuck would bother bringing the body back at all. If the defendant wanted to kill the victim, why didn't he just leave his body in the rocket? Why go through the trouble of bringing him all the way back to the boarding lounge? Oh, that's true. I don't think we've heard the prosecution's thoughts on that yet. That's because they have done, Your Honor. After all, how does one explain something so illogical? The prosecution is claiming that the defendant moved the victim's dead body. But what if the entire premise of that argument is wrong? Then let's hear your theory, Mr. Justice. The defense proposes that the defendant didn't kill the victim. He was helping him.
Fulbright, explain for our sad friend here before I nod off to his monotone monologue. Inform him exactly why Spaceboy moved the victim.
Huh? They've gotta be joking.
It's simple. Mr. Starbuck did what he did to direct suspicion away from himself. He wanted to create the impression he was heroically risking his life to save his partner. That's why he made sure to make it to the security camera so there'd be a record.
At the very least, he appears to have achieved success with you and the old man.
Ah! One man carrying the other to safety. What a beautiful expression of friendship.
The average person wearing a spacesuit weighs easily over 200 pounds. Saving the life of a partner who weighs as much while trying to escape deadly flames. What a dramatic sob story fit for the silver screen.
Indeed, I was completely taken in by the humanity of that story.
You see, yet the true ending is that all traces of his hammy act were meant to be blown up. Yes, and now we arrive at the thrilling conclusion, the third explosion.
Objection!
What are you talking about? There was no third explosion.
Silence.
Indeed, you are correct. That is because the third explosion is right now, when your case utterly bombs, Athena. But that is thanks to Detective Arm. It was she who identified and secured the bomb. However, it doesn't change the fact that the third bomb was discovered in the lounge. The steel coffin beside the witness stand, that would be a bomb transport case. We used that to transport the deactivated bomb here. It was found in the lounge, a bomb in the form of a most distasteful toy. What? It should have been a bird on the second floor of the main building, on the launch pad, and one in the lounge. The defendant planned to set off 3 firework displays. Fortunately, the third was discovered before it could be detonated, for had it not, the victim's body and other vital evidence would surely have been immolated.
Objection!
Go! Before you utter a word, know that I am the head edgelord here. I have the Hot Topic Frequent Buyers card, and I shall use it as my scepter to rule over this courtroom as the one true edgelord. Know that the evidence supports me.
Ugh! It's like he's reading my mind.
As it is still undergoing forensic investigation, I do not have the evidence on hand. However, know that peculiar item was found in one of Mr. Starbuck's pockets. Specifically, a bomb detonation switch.
You found what?
I suspect the defendant had no time to destroy such damning evidence. When the Space Center director and Detective Arm stumbled across the murder, so he thought to hide it in his pocket. Feeble brain that he is.
Oh! No! Mr. Starbuck would never do anything like that! Oh!
Justice Dono, open your eyes and see the truth.
This appears to be irrefutable evidence that the accused set off the explosions. No! There has to be some kind of mistake! This can't be the truth!
Still got acceptance? You'll believe in your client, come what may. Then why don't you cross-examine the defendant himself?
This has gotta be a trap!
It's like Black was controlling the entire game.
Yeah, it seemed like he was waiting for me to bring up the body moving issue.
Why do you say that?
Because he had just the right argument when I pointed it out. And to really rub it in, he had a decisive piece of evidence up his sleeve too. He was trying to shake my faith in Mr. Starbuck and break me down.
Then making you cross-examine Mr. Starbuck at this point was part of his plan, too? Totally underhanded, but I wouldn't expect anything less from him.
Now let us hear from the arch-villain, the fiendish murderer himself, famed astronaut Solomon Starbuck.
Witness, your name and occupation, please.
Solomon Starbuck, astronaut. How did this happen?
Mr. Starbuck, you are looking very well. Will you be able to give testimony?
No.
Well, unfortunately, no is not an option. Then why did you give it to my client? I was trying to be nice. You are being accused of the Space Center bombing and the murder of Clay Turan. Please testify to these allegations.
Mind if I take the suit off? It's getting really heavy.
Silence. You will keep the suit on, and you will suffer. Look at what I wear on a daily basis. You think I want to wear this three-piece monstrosity? We all gotta do things we hate. It's not the way of the suit that you feel, but of your sins. Prepare to carry that weight for the rest of your life.
Banish me up to the moon. I don't care anymore. Wow, that was super negative. Is he gonna be alright up there?
He'll be fine, I think. As long as he doesn't totally give up and say he did it, that is.
All I did was support Clay over my shoulder and get us off that rocket. Like always, I took the elevator down to the middle level and headed for the corridor. Clay had passed out by the time we got the order to evacuate. I didn't kill Clay. I was trying to save him.
So you assert you didn't set off the bombs or murder the victim?
Ha 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 ha. But I bet you think I'm lying, right?
I reserve all judgment until after I heard your full testimony, you lying murderer.
I'm sure you don't believe me. I bet you don't even believe I'm an astronaut.
I don't think the judge doubts that.
Who'd wear a suit like that except an astronaut?
A guy in an astronaut costume, that's who. Someone who went to the costume store and bought an astronaut costume so he could fake the cloud of being an astronaut so he could pick up girls on the public bus. I've seen this trick once and I won't see it again. I will say that when I saw you in that movie, you appeared quite courageous, though I suppose reality never quite lives up to that fantasy. It also showed you being kind to some sad, ugly little boy with a giant forehead and demon horns. That was me! Oh my gosh, they really dragged you through the mud, Mr. Justice.
I guess I'm just a big disappointment. I really don't care what happens anymore.
Oh no, he's completely given up.
What a depressing fellow. If you were to join me in the clink, I imagine that annoying sighing of yours would rub off on the other inmates. Like how it rubbed off on Prosecutor Blackwell a second ago?
That was Blackwell sighing? Mr. Starbuck's testimony contains a glaring contradiction. The question is, what does it mean? If Mr. Starbuck is my client, I can't be gun shy now. It's time to find the truth.
I didn't kill him.
Hold it!
So what you're saying is that the victim was still alive at the time?
Of course! He was alive and well!
Silence! If so, then you admit you took a man who was alive and well, and silenced him permanently with this.
What? No! Blackwell confirmed, dead ahead! Ah! It's so good, Captain! I'm getting sucked in!
Objection!
What the hell was that? Mr. Starbuck, you're not in space! Please give your testimony seriously!
It was just nerves, but maybe I should have said he was alive and well. He was more like he was slumped over.
Those are completely opposite ends of the spectrum.
Okay, next one.
Is that the elevator inside the launch pad area?
That's right. We always use to get to and from the cockpit. That makes sense. So he was just using the route he always used.
In spite of the fact that there had just been an explosion?
Huh?
I think Mr. Starbuck is hiding something. Something pretty big.
Hold it!
Passed out? Why was he passed out?
Probably because of the explosion. The noise and vibration were incredible. It's little wonder a person would pass out, right?
I guess. Not that I know.
Ah! I've been hit by space debris. The main engine's on fire. It's gonna blow. Ah!
Yes, I see. I guess it does make sense that someone would pass out. Especially if the person in question is Mr. Starbuck.
Anyways.
Hold it!
Don't worry, I understand. I'll make sure everything turns out alright.
But everyone's glaring at me like I did it. Apollo, you have to be assured better than that.
And how am I supposed to do that?
Try to match how he's feeling and use that to figure out how to boost his confidence.
Mr. Starbuck, think back to what Clay used to always say. It's times like these when he would repeat, "I'm fine" to himself.
I'm fine. Yeah, I guess he did say that a lot. But even if I shout it, Clay will still be dead. What's the use?
Could somebody please reassure me now?
Apollo, there's something strange about Mrs. Starbuck's testimony.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. There's a glaring contradiction. I just wonder why it's there and what it means for our case.
Well, it doesn't look like he's lying, at least.
Guess I'll have to show some evidence.
Okay, go over here and present the bombing report.
Objection!
Mr. Starbuck, I need your testimony to be as accurate as possible.
Was I not being accurate?
No, because it's impossible for you to have taken the elevator down to the middle level. What makes you say that, Mr. Justice? Please recall where the bomb went off in Launchpad 1. Also recall that after the explosion, the middle level elevator was engulfed in flames. Oh, you're right. Which means... Exactly, the Launchpad's elevator would have been unusable. In other words... Mr. Starbuck, your statement is decidedly inconsistent with the facts. What's with the helmet?
Ah! Mission Command! Mission Command! Do you read me? Come in, please!
Objection!
This is Mission Command! You are out of your mind! I order you to pay attention! Stop this nonsense and answer my questions, Mr. Starbuck! You're ruining my epic objection music!
Ah, my helmet! Ah! My oxygen tank! Oxygen concentration and body temperature declining. Requesting medical assistance. Ah!
Mr. Starbuck, we are not in space right now. Please stop pretending you have lost consciousness and stand back up.
I apologize, Your Honor. I forgot I was still on Earth. I feel like we all just got a real glimpse of Solomon Starbuck, the astronaut.
Yeah, he seems more like an astronaut now than when he was doing all that sighing. Mr. Starbuck, could you please explain the inconsistency in your statement about how you used the middle level elevator?
I was nervous and I said the wrong thing. I'm sorry. I actually took a different route. I think.
A different route?
You think? I hope you're able to deliver a straight story this time.
I'll get it right this time.
Probably. Probably?
It's understandable to be nervous, but let me remind you, accuracy is paramount in court.
My escape route. Let's see, my escape route. What I said before was a mistake. I remember now. I took a different route. Maybe, probably, with the capsule and clay in my arms, I made my way down from the upper level.
So you're saying you escaped without using the elevator?
That's right.
there's a ladder that spans the upper and middle levels. I used that ladder to get to the middle level. Luckily, the fire hadn't reached the ladder, so we could make our escape that way.
And the capsule you mentioned. I suppose you mean that thing next to Mr. Turan there. Was the capsule that important that you'd risk your life to take it with you?
It almost goes without saying, but yeah, that capsule contains asteroid samples, but therefore it's invaluable as research material. It contains Temsic fragments. Yeah, now I can't help but imagine, basically, and I actually did see a post of this one time just online, where basically just, where someone theorized that, came up with a headcanon, where basically just, where those asteroid fragments are the same type of asteroid fragments from basically from Ghost Trick Phantom Detective. Basically the Temsic fragments that basically if you die near them, you turn your ghost gains Ghost Trick powers. Yeah, basically Apollo come back from cases just from this point on in the series, basically just Clay just using ghost tricks to basically just rewind time. With his spacesuit on, Clay weighed a ton, but securing the capsule was also important.
I need you to answer to the best of your ability. Mr. Starbuck, please remember that your verdict is right on your testimony.
Maybe I'm guilty after all. I wonder if you can see the stars in prison. Bet it's more comfortable than a spaceship. The only star that I have ever seen in prison was Matt on guard. But he isn't exactly the most sociable of prisoners. He's always scared around this one guard with stitches going down the center of his face. Okay, let's start pressing.
How can you mistake such a basic fact?
Hey, everybody makes mistakes, but try thinking about the vastness of space instead. From Earth, it takes 4 light years to travel to our nearest neighboring star. So you see, compared to the vast expanse of space, human error is insignificant.
I wish you'd consider it just a little more significant than 0.
Enough jabbering! Get on with your testimony. Okay.
Maybe, probably. Did I hear you right, Mr. Starbuck?
I didn't say either of those things. Mission Control, come in please. An error has occurred in the sound system. Activate the emergency tin can telephone. Oh, no! Tin can telephones are ineffective in the vacuum of space.
Silence.
Stop this nonsense or I will sever you and your tin can telephone! Yeah, just knowing Simon, he would just pull out a damaged soup can and just start throwing it at Solomon. Hey! And then Gumshoe rushes in. Don't you waste a good damaged can of soup! Alright, I'm begging you, I'll tell the truth. Just don't sever anything! Apollo, is he gonna be alright?
I'm starting to think he's not.
Let's see. So about when we were running away.
Hold it!
The upper level of the launch pad area.
That's right. That's what I said, isn't it?
Granted, the route does exist. So to recap, you had Clay over your right shoulder and the capsule in your left hand.
Yeah, it's really important. So I couldn't let it get burned up. So even though Clay was really heavy, I couldn't afford to carry him with both hands. I did the best I could with him over one shoulder and the capsule in my other hand.
I don't think that the meaning of what he's just said is him yet.
You know what you have to do with that statement. Justice Dono.
Yes, I know. Well, I've come this far, no turning back now. It's time to present some evidence.
So Mr. Starbuck said with Clay in the capsule, which means it's just like in the footage. I can see why he couldn't run though.
He must have weighed over 200 pounds just by himself.
Yeah, and he had to support Clay, who was another 200 pounds. Plus he had to show the safety of that capsule. I don't think I could have ever walked under those circumstances.
Walking straight forward is probably about all I would have been able to manage.
Okay, anyways, for this one.
Objection!
Mr. Starbuck, why don't you just tell the truth?
We'll answer that in the next episode, because I think that now would be a good time to end things off. Anyways, I really appreciate that you stuck around to watch this episode. You're a great viewer, and I hope you come back for the next one. If you like this video, like, subscribe, comment, share, do whatever that you want, and with that, I'll see you next time. Bye.